A pattern repeats across 3,000 years. An army marches onto the Iranian plateau, convinced of victory. They conquer the cities, topple the king, plant their flags. Within a generation, something impossible happens. The conquerors begin speaking Persian. They adopt Persian customs, build in Persian style, govern by Persian law. The invaders don't destroy Iran. Iran transforms them. This happened with Alexander's Greeks, with Arab caliphs, with Mongol Khans. How does a civilization turn military defeat into cultural victory? The answer lies in the deepest survival strategy ever developed by any nation. Long before Persia became an empire, the Iranian plateau was already ancient. Archaeologists have uncovered Iranian cities 7,000 years old. In the 23rd century before Christ, the Elamite kingdom signed the first recorded international treaty in human history. Iran didn't enter the game of civilizations late. It helped write the rules. Between 2000 and 1500 BC, nomadic tribes calling themselves Aryans arrived from the north. Their language was cousin to Greek, Latin, and eventually English. They named their new home Iran, land of the Aryans. But their greatest contribution wasn't political. In these mountains, Zoroastrianism emerged, a religion that rewired human consciousness. Before Zoroaster, most cultures imagined time as circular. Seasons repeat, generations turn, nothing truly changes. Zoroastrianism introduced a radical idea. Time moves forward in a line. The universe is a battlefield between a god of light and a spirit of darkness. History has a beginning, a climax, and an end. There will be a final judgment, a purification by fire. This Iranian concept, linear time with moral purpose, flowed into Judaism after Cyrus freed the Babylonian captives. From there, it shaped Christianity and Islam. When you imagine history as progress toward a destination, you're thinking in a framework ancient Iranians invented. In 550 BC, Cyrus the Great built the first Persian superpower. Unlike the brutal conquerors before him, Cyrus practiced strategic mercy. He didn't burn temples or enslave populations. He allowed local customs, protected local religions, and ruled through legitimacy rather than terror. His successor, Darius, expanded this model into the largest empire the world had yet seen. Nearly half of humanity lived under Persian administration. Darius created provinces with governors, standardized taxation, minted gold currency, and built a road network spanning thousands of miles. Along these roads ran a postal relay system so fast it wouldn't be matched for centuries. The empire functioned as a multinational state held together by infrastructure and tolerance. Cyrus himself died in battle in Central Asia. Legend claims the enemy queen beheaded him and submerged his skull in blood, saying he'd thirsted for it. Now he could drink his fill. The later wars with Greece are usually told as Persian defeat. But for Persia, losing a few Greek cities was a minor setback. The Persians changed tactics. They used gold instead of swords. They funded Sparta against Athens, set Greek city-states against each other, and eventually forced a peace treaty on Persian terms. Persia mastered Greece without conquering it. The real catastrophe arrived in 330 BC with Alexander of Macedon. He shattered the Persian army and torched Persepolis, the jewel of the empire. It seemed the 1,000-year story had ended, but the Iranian mechanism activated. Alexander began wearing Persian robes, adopting Persian court rituals, marrying Persian nobility. His Greek commanders were horrified. They saw their king becoming Persian. After Alexander's death, his Greek successors ruled Iran for generations. But slowly, generation by generation, they were culturally absorbed. The Parthians, an Iranian people, eventually expelled the Greeks in the 2nd century BC. For the next 700 years, Parthians and then Sassanids ruled an empire that was Rome's only true rival. Roman legions were crushed repeatedly on the Iranian frontier. In 260 AD, the Roman Emperor Valerian was captured alive. the most humiliating defeat Rome ever suffered. The Sassanid period became a golden age, centralized government, Zoroastrianism as state religion, flourishing arts and sciences. But 4 centuries of exhausting war with Rome and Byzantium drained the empire. In the 7th century, Arab armies surged out of the desert under the banner of Islam. The Sassanid capital fell. The Zoroastrian priesthood collapsed. Islam and the Arabic language swept across Iran. In Egypt and Syria, local languages vanished. Populations became Arab. Historians expected the same in Iran. It didn't happen. The Arabs quickly realized they couldn't administer their vast empire without Persian bureaucrats, engineers, and scholars. Persian remained the language of administration and high culture. Within 2 centuries, Persian literature experienced a renaissance. Poets like Ferdowsi preserved pre-Islamic Iranian epics in the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings. The Arab Caliphate ruled Iran politically, but culturally Iran reprogrammed the Caliphate. Persian became the prestige language across the Eastern Islamic world, spoken from Baghdad to India. Islam didn't erase Iranian identity. It absorbed and was absorbed by it. In 1220, the Mongols arrived. This was not conquest. It was annihilation. Genghis Khan's armies slaughtered entire cities, destroyed irrigation systems, turned farmland into pasture. Historians estimate millions died. Iran seemed finished, not just defeated, but erased. Then the pattern repeated. When Genghis Khan's grandson Hulagu established the Ilkhanate in Iran, something astonishing happened. The Mongol rulers converted to Islam. They made Persian the state language. They commissioned Persian-style architecture, the magnificent mosques with turquoise domes. They patronized Persian poets and historians. The destroyers became the preservers. At the end of the 14th century, Tamerlane invaded. Another wave of destruction. He built pyramids of skulls, left cities in ashes. Yet he too became captivated by Persian culture. He transported Iranian artists and architects to his capital in Samarkand. His descendants launched a Persian cultural renaissance across Central Asia. For 3 centuries, the men on the throne were ethnically Mongol or Turkic, but within 2 or 3 generations their courts were Persian. The Iranian cultural code functioned like a civilizational immune system. It converted foreign bodies into versions of itself. In 1501, Shah Ismail reunited Iran and established Shia Islam as the state religion. This decision permanently differentiated Iran from the Sunni Ottoman Empire and most of the Islamic world. Once again, Iran carved out a distinct identity. But by the 19th century, new threats emerged, not invading armies, but imperial powers carving spheres of influence. Britain extracted oil concessions. Russia occupied northern provinces. Iran was suffocating under foreign control without formal colonization. In 1925, Reza Shah seized power and launched a modernization campaign. In 1935, he made a diplomatic move that stunned the world. He ordered every embassy and foreign government to stop calling his country Persia. From now on, the official name would be Iran, the ancient, authentic name. To Westerners, Persia evoked fairy tales and exotic carpets, a romantic past, not a modern nation. Reza Shah rejected that framing. He insisted, "We are Iran, an ancient civilization and a modern power, and you will use the name we choose." It was not merely symbolic, it was a declaration of agency. The 20th century brought foreign interference, a CIA-backed coup in 1953, rapid modernization, and finally the Islamic Revolution of 1979. The monarchy fell, the theocratic republic rose, and Iran's relationship with the West ruptured. Today, a strange duality persists. When people hear Iran, they think of sanctions, geopolitics, and tension. When they hear Persia, they imagine ancient grandeur, poetry, and lost empires. 2 names for one land. two images layered over a single history. This split reflects the larger paradox of Iranian survival. Iran has never relied on military invincibility. It has survived by outlasting its conquerors, by absorbing and transforming them. It has survived by holding an identity so deep that foreign rulers become its ambassadors. It has survived by teaching its enemies to speak its language, worship in its style, and dream in its myths. Over 5,000 years, Iran developed the ultimate strategy: lose the battle, win the century. It stood at the origin of international diplomacy. It invented the idea that time moves forward toward judgment and justice. It proved that empires can be conquered with culture as surely as with cavalry. But its greatest challenge is the present. Iran today is caught between tradition and transformation, between regional power and international isolation, between the weight of its past and the uncertainty of its future. Yet the pattern suggests one truth. Reports of Iran's disappearance have always been premature. Empires that tried to erase it were themselves erased. Conquerors who burned its cities ended up rebuilding them in Persian style. Iran doesn't just survive history, it rewrites the conquerors who try to end it. That is the lesson carved into the Iranian plateau over 50 centuries. Power is temporary, armies fade, but a culture that can transform its enemies into its inheritors, that culture becomes immortal. If you found this journey through 5,000 years of survival strategy valuable, subscribe for more deep dives into the forces that shaped our world.